Okay, sound check. Sound is good. Live is on the green. I think it's everything fine. So if something is wrong, please let me know. If not, welcome everybody to the live stream. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. And in case you don't know me yet, I'm Vlad. Welcome to the channel. And I had the ability, and thank you so much for Cockpit Lyrics and Toliss for providing me with a copy of the A320 CEO that's going to be released on the 26th of September. Why am I thinking February? Maybe because my birthday is on the 26th of February. And today we will be looking at it. We will be doing some tests. We're going to see what's what with this airplane. What does it bring new, specifically this engine mod. And yeah, we're going to just be answering your questions. And I'll try to be as, well, as explicit as possible regarding this airplane. We are right now in Springfield Branson National Airport or International Airport. Why am I here? Because we do have a quite significant thunderstorm not so far from here. And this airplane already has the new weather radar. So that's something I really want to test and see how it goes as well. We're not going to be really doing a flight from A to B on this live stream. We will be flying basically on heading, testing a couple of stuff. I am really interested to see the fuel burn, and by the way, the sky is looking absolutely stunning. I just need to take a picture because it looks really cool with this livery. And so we'll be testing the different engines. We'll be testing the different fuel flows. I want to see if the Sharklets actually make a difference because you guys know we just had the A320 CEO so far, and in both of those versions we had Sharklets, so there wasn't really a difference. This version though brings us Sharklets and winglets. So it's going to be slightly different, and while we do have on the 319 and the 321, I never exactly tested that, so I want to see. Now, what I show here is absolutely default, so everything is going to be default. The sound is default, the livery is default, the engine texture is default, so there is no CARDA mods, there is no KOSP sound pack or BSS or any other. So we are completely default regarding the plane, so you can see what you get is what you see, or what you see is what you're going to get. Alright, in case you don't know, you have to own the Toliss A320 CEO in order to buy the 320 CEO, much like what you have on the 321, but kind of works the other way around. On the 321 you get the CEO first with the IE and CFM engines, and then you purchase additionally the Neo expansion. Alright, on this one it works slightly backwards. A couple of questions already that I saw somewhere regarding the engine, and maybe it's something controversial a little bit. People said that yes, you can just change the engine texture or the engine object and you will have a CEO with the A320 NEO. Actually, I think there is somewhere a mod for that. Yes, that's true. However, you will not have the right performance. And with this one, you will have the right performance. And I understand both sides of the coin. There's people who want to have the CEO just for the visual, and there's people who want to have the CEO, but every time they go into planning mode, they know that it's not exactly a real CEO. So while for some this may be a good option, for some it may not. I like it. I think it's cool, and I don't see why not for Toliss to do this. So it's really, really nice. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity. The second thing is liveries. So I have already tested a little bit. The fuselage liveries work the same as from the 320 NEO. So whatever livery you have from the 320 NEO will work here. And the wing texturing and the engine texturing are the same as from the 319. At least every livery that I checked, let's say, I don't know, Spirit, for example. I really wanted to, tomorrow we're going to fly Spirits, right? So I found a Spirit livery that was created for the 320 Neo, accounting for the 320 CEO mod, which was not the real 320. And I just found another livery for the 319, and I grabbed the wings and the engine's texturing, and it worked. So for now, it works like that. I do not endorse this practice because you can mix different works of different painters, and that's probably not something very nice to do. But I just wanted to see if it works, how it works. Do we have a different texture or not? No, it's exactly the same. Okay, so yeah, let me just say hello to the chat. Golden Age, welcome. Tazzy, I'll be trying to get some sleep by the time stream starts. Try to catch you at the end. Alright, Tazzy. See there. Let me guess, loading scenery files, then not doing it. Yeah, X-Plane was having a laugh at me, and then guess what? Streamlabs decided to update. So yeah, SyncRashFlight97, welcome. Aviation Geek, Tazzy, Taz, I actually can't believe it. I thought all hope was lost. Lol. No, we're here. I'm terribly sorry for the delay. It was all fine. XP Realistic disabled would be great. I do not use XP Realistic, so yeah, there is no XP Realistic. I don't like it. In fact, I think it the way it shakes is not very nice, or it can be nice if it's set up in the right way, but I hate the sounds that it adds. I think it breaks totally the immersion. So no XP Realistic, no nothing. What you see is what you get. This is completely new plane out of the box. Alright, Tazzy. Oh, also the mod was illegal as it used files from another developer's A320. There you go. So I do not endorse that. Like, I can understand, but I think there is another mod. There was just someone who just simply swapped the engines, like the Cardo engines, and that was it. So maybe we were talking about different things, but yeah, well, whatever. Danny, thanks for the delivery tip. Danny, you're welcome. So if you are a painter, that's how it's going to work. I think Toliss is going to put up the textures out there, but so far it looks like it's exactly the same. And I mean, I can prove it to you, so you guys can see that I am not lying. Let's see, for instance, I found an S7 livery. This one is from the same creator. So, oh, Niels Christiansen, by the way. 9 months, dude. Thank you so much. I think you are now a glider pilot. Congratulations, and thank you so much for your continuous support. So I'm just going to apply this one. This livery was from the same author, and he painted the 320 for the 320 Neo, like the fuselage section and the tail and all that stuff. And then he had liveries from the A319, and I just went there, grabbed the wing textures and the engine, and there you go. It works. But I want to fly with the Airbus livery, the normal one. I think it was this one. Nope. You have a couple of Airbus paints there. We're going to check them out in a bit. But essentially, they have the Toliss configuration file, and they will change the engine type accordingly. All right. So let me just see here. Floppo, good to see you here. Tazzy, Ansett or Jetstar livery. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to start painting stuff, so that's pretty good. Killer, I can always tell when someone is using XP Realistic because every landing plays the 737 spoilers deploying sound. Yeah, I hate that, so I don't like it. Anyways, the only thing I have is head shake, and that does not have anything related to sound. Alright? Okay, so for those who are watching, we have 30 people watching. That's incredible. Guys, if you are new to the channel, hit the thumbs up and consider joining. Tomorrow we're going to be flying more. But for now, I will be showing the menu, the Toliss menu, so you can see if there's any different or not. So here, basically all the same, your situations, your startup, configs. I like to load in cold and dark. That's how the plane it is right now. So that's pretty cool. Your amazing autosave is right here. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as the normal 320 Neo. Now, because we're on this new livery, I want to save the performance as a completely new aircraft, because even though this livery feels a little bit dirty, I want to consider that this is a new airplane, so we're going to use the new engine age and the new aircraft age. But tomorrow, once we fly the Spirit, I'm going to be putting this all the way down to old, and I want to see if this is going to be making any difference. Loading performance is all the same. We're going to do a couple of things here. I want to load up the plane a lot. Probably not that much, but a lot of fuel here, and that is going to be for a reason. Because I want to see the effect of Sharklets, and Syncrash Flyer 297, I buy you a coffee. Thank you so much, dude. 2 euros donation. Thank you so much, man. Alright, I'm going to apply this. Oh boy. Maybe that's way too much aft CG, so let's put like 30. 30, a lot of fuel here. Like a lot. That is done. And I want to see this for a couple of reasons. I'll explain why in a second. So this is all the same. The ground surfaces are all the same. And now I have removed the stairs here on purpose, but they are there. So this is all normal. Fault scenarios are the same. Sound stuff is the same. This is where you're gonna activate your Toliss A320 CEO. It is exactly like on the 321, so no big difference. Joystick actions and setting and accounts, I'm not going to open that because I believe that shows the license. So, but it's basically exactly the same. So what is really interesting to me is right here, this menu here regarding Sharklets, wingtips and whatnot. So we're going to test that out in a bit. And let me just zoom in a little bit more. And before actually that, let me just check. We only get one option of the CFM 56. I believe on the 319 we get two options of the CFM 56. I don't know if this is related to the type of the airplane or not, but only one. CFM 56-5 Bravo 4 and IAE 2527-A5. So that's going to be it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you guys can see how the engine looks. I believe this is exactly the same as on the 319-321. A couple of things that I think it's important to mention. My computer is not amazing. I have only 8 gigs of VRAM and it's a 2070 RTX. That's a little bit old already. So I'm not running the textures on a high. This is on medium, and that's probably why the spinner looks like it is, and the texturing might not look as good as it might. So please take the discount out of there. Of course, it will not look as the Carden engine mods, but it definitely can look better than what you see here. But here's the engine texturing and the wingtips. I mean, I think it's pretty normal. The wingtips is what you see is what you get. I love this. Oh wait, I love this wing view. I don't know. It was the first airplane that I remember flying consciously, and I love the way this wing looks. In fact, I'm planning to do a couple of flights later, recreating some of my real-world flights that are really nostalgic to me. So yeah, finally, this airplane made it possible to do. And it looks stunning as well. Alright, so that is all set. Now, inside the cabin, I think the cabin is looking basically the same. I, to be fair, do not care much about the cabin because I prefer to switch it off. Like on the A330neo, there's an option to toggle it off to save some frame rate, and that is an absolutely tasty option. So I would love to have that seen on the 320. So here's your cabin, just one configuration, and that is it. Let's go into the cockpit. I believe I should be able to open the door. Yes, I can. And we get inside. Now, differences in the cockpit, essentially, it's mostly the same. Of course, you have a different panel on the ADIRs. This is the older one, much like on the 319 or 321. And I think that's mostly it, to be fair. What else? Of course, we don't have DRAMs yet. The CPDLC is DCDU, I think that's it. Yes, we can remove that or we can leave that, so it depends. But essentially, it's the same cockpit. Now, default sounds. Let's power up the airplane, get it started, and we're going to take off here. There is a very large system all around this airport, that's why I picked it up. And I'm also testing the Bing orthophoto source for map enhancement because I feel like for the United States this one is slightly better, or I'm just curious to see if it's better than Google or not. But so far it's been nice. And we're gonna check as well the weather radar. All right, voltages above 25.5. Let's start that. Start external power. this, and this. Position 1, and we're going to wait until the airplane powers up. And while it does that, I am going to read a little bit of the chat. JetBlue ops coming soon. Indeed, SimCrash Flyer 97. I actually was thinking between JetBlue and Spirit, but I think I never flown Spirit. Oh, never mind, I actually did. I did both Spirit and JetBlue. I did Spirit on the 319 to Burbank, and I did JetBlue on the Embraer on the E190. I think it was to Salt Lake. Pretty beautiful flight. Niels Christensen, 9 months, Blue Skies Aladdin gang. Dude, thank you so much. That is amazing. Tazzy can't wait to fly from, I don't know where that is, but I guess that's Australia because it's Yankee Mike. And set would be nice. Ekaterina, привет. Welcome to Livestream. Danny, my wing Ursa Minor is coming Monday. Can't wait to use it on this. You will like it, Danny. I think you will like it. That's pretty cool. Дамир Карналов, Вита Тутты. Я не знаю, про кого ты, но добро пожаловать. Хотя вот Вита. Какой здорово, ребята. Добро пожаловать на канал. Lube, you buy $30 Toliss enhancement. Lube, well, I did not buy it. Toliss provided it to me as a live streamer, so I can showcase it to you guys. So it's a very privileged position, and I thank you. I thank them very much for that. It is really cool. Niels Christensen, 8 gigs of VRAM. Yeah, rest in peace. Exactly. Дамир Камалов, в целом неплохо выглядит, тестик, так сказать. Буду тестить. Лучше, чем Flight Factor? Думаю, что да. So Damir is saying that it's probably better than Flight Factor. I actually had the Flight Factor for X-Plane 11, and it was decent. However, I did not really like the physics of it. The cockpit was a little bit weird sometimes, and the tablet I think was not the best. So sometimes like the loading process was not really cool in that aspect. Alright, let's do the overhead flow. This is gonna go on, ground control on, CVR test. I'm just press the button. Okay, we got the sound. ADIRS on nav. Wait until the on-bat extinguishes. That's gonna be on there. And on there. Beautiful. Alright, that's not required. Strobes to auto. We don't need the lights right now. This is gonna go to normal. We have a lot of passengers. We do have the refueling complete, so actually seatbelt sign is gonna be on and the fuel pumps are gonna be on. Let me see. Can we hear the fuel pumps? I think you should be able to hear the fuel pumps when they are switched on. I don't think there's any difference. Well, alright, you guys know it. The Toliss sound pack is not amazing, but we get this airplane not for the sound pack. We get this airplane for the systems, for the flight model, and for the overall experience. Maintenance balance is all blacked out. Alright, ARC, plan mode, I don't really need it, but I'll switch it still. Q&H, I'm just going to be using the X-Plane stuff. So, 3007, although we are in the... wait. We are in the United States, so 3007. For whatever reason, I thought that was in hectopascals. Impossible. Alright, 3007 and elevations reading 1200, and it should be correct. It is correct. When I set an initial climbing altitude of 10,000 feet, I'm just gonna scroll this. It doesn't really care about this. This is all set. Let's set the Q&H here. 3007. My poor eye. This is all set. Frequency set. I'm offline. That's on purpose because we're just gonna be testing stuff and not really following any specific flight plan. That's not going to be the case today. Lights are off, we don't need them. Very good. And dome light off. Okay, let's go into the box init page. So this is Kilo Sierra Golf Foxtrot. We're going to go to the same airport. Kilo Sierra Golf Foxtrot. Insert line IRS. Now we don't have an alternate, and we will be testing as Toliss or Airbus or anything. Let's do Tango Lima Sierra Toliss 320. Cost index doesn't really matter. We're gonna put 5, and I will try to climb to at least flight level 350. on purpose. Don't know what the temperature is, it doesn't really matter at this time. Okay, now regarding the weight, we have 60.7 tons and 15.1. Oh wait, that's the fuel. Never mind. 30 on the CG first, and 15.1 on the fuel. We are literally on the max takeoff weight, which is the blue line. No, this is forward. Takeoff CG limit is the white one, so we're really close to it. Very close to our maximum. Okay, that is all set. So flight plan, let me just set what's the direction of the wind. 4 knots. Runway 20, I think I'll go there. So let's just set runway 20, no SID, so we're just gonna get it there. I want to check the performance, just to make sure that we can actually get off here. So let's do reset and compute. Oh boy, I'm gonna use almost an entire runway. Config 2, flex 46, how about we use toga? Yeah, it's about the same. Toga uses flaps 3. Alright, let's use then flex temp, because the runway is wet. It is better for us. Okay, very good. And the return, I'm gonna plan it later, we don't really need it right now. Optimum is 336, maximum 351, cruise 350. So perhaps until we reach the maximum, I'm gonna decrease some of the weight on purpose. I will explain why I need a heavy airplane in a moment. Alright, uplink takeoff data request. Just making sure that this is gonna be checking all again. Lubert, no CRT, no. And Magnus, no EIS1, no, it's the same one. Danny, I agree, haven't tried Bing yet, but I wasn't crazy about Google Maps. I'm on a free version of Map Enhancement. I am as well on the free version of Map Enhancement, and Google works kind of well in the United States. However, I feel like they have like for almost all the cities, they have a different satellite picture, maybe in a higher resolution or something. But the problem is, when you get closer to it, it is quite of a different color, and so you are approaching a certain city, and you can clearly see the border of the two pictures, and that doesn't really look so nice. That's why I like ARC so much, because they are mostly always the same. Bing is somewhat the same, it depends on the place, but I don't know. Bing for New Zealand, for example, is absolutely stunning. So, yeah. Magnus says that Bing is way better for map enhancement. Google's color is weird. True. Yeah, it depends. Niels Christensen, sorry, missed your message. A320 family craft haven't used CRT for a long while. That is true. I don't know the date, but it is a very long time indeed. Synchro Star notice how Night Life Factor can do a 747. Oh boy, don't give ideas to the community. Or everybody's gonna be very excited on that. Alright. Fokker F28, hey! You are now a frequent flyer. Welcome. How are you? Southampton 220, hey, welcome. Look at you, Avid Simmer. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you? How's it going? Hope everything's well. I mean, it's been so far so good. I had a small surgery in the eyelid. I had to do it, not cosmetic, but I have a small infection there, so it was essentially a cleaning process. It happened on Monday, so I'm still on recovery, and that's why I haven't streamed in the previous week as well, because I was quite tired and had to go there. Alright, insert the uplink, that is set. Flex 46 is set, good. Alright, Southampton, in my opinion they should add the EIS1. You know, I was thinking until the very end, like until the very end, that they would do that as a surprise, but they didn't. And I can understand, because it is not as simple as it looks. I think that some of the ECAM stuff changes, some of the system drawing changes, a lot of stuff actually, from what I heard, changes, and that requires a lot of rework. Now, would that be cool? Absolutely, but it is not as easy as it looks, so I can understand. Big Mungus, can you use card on this? I have no idea, to be fair, because the config is new. I believe the guy who made that amazing installer for the car engines would need to adjust it, but I'm 100% sure that it is possible. Maybe not yet supported, but possible. And Magnus, EIS1 would be so great, would be a no-brainer for me. I agree. I don't know, maybe in the future they'll add it. Between EIS1 and the A340-300s, I'd prefer the A340-300s. I don't know. Southampton 220. Yes, sadly I missed the last few streams, but I watched them afterwards. No problem. I hope it's everything good with you, and it's all fine. Alright, so we've set the speeds. We've set the... what else? We've set the basic flight plan. I'm not expecting any failures, although I am running with... No, I'm not running with random faults. I should be. Random faults at 20, that's my default value, so we're gonna leave it there, and we'll see how it goes. Let's start the APU. I'm not gonna do any kind of in the briefing today, we're just gonna go for it. And yeah. Flight from A to B is gonna be tomorrow. Let's check out the APU sound, if there is any. This is the default settings. I don't hear anything. Is it starting? Yeah, it's starting. Yeah, it's starting. There goes the heat. Alright, so it looks like there's no APU sound. Well, no problem to me. Also, this weather is definitely getting more dynamic, which I kinda like, and this plane is looking fantastic. So I'd love to remove the rest of the ground surfaces. I'll probably remove the chocks. No, not sure about that. We'll see. Where are they going on? Close all this stuff. Those are all the ground equipment. Alright, do we have APU? Yes, we do have APU. Let's go APU bleed on. And let's see, I just want to make sure it is indeed switched on. Very good. Alright, external power off. Beacon light on. Oh, maybe that's because I didn't switch the beacon light on. Maybe? Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps that was the thing. No, they're actually coming to open the plane. No, we don't want. Go away, please. Bye. Okay, very good. We've got IRS as well. So that is all set. And let's start the engines. Now, this is something I really want to see. I want to hear the startup sound, just to see how it looks. Maybe we should just do a before start checklist, just so we make sure that everything's good. Alright, preparation, this is all set. Before start, parking brake is set, windows and door and... Sorry, parking brake is set, takeoff speeds and thrust is set, windows closed, beacon on, before start is complete. Alright, let's put this to start, and let's start 2. There he goes in. 2, we've got ignition 8. Fuel flows in. Well, yeah. Alright, it's definitely starting up nice. And a lot quicker, like a CFM should. Got a fail. Let's start the other one. Okay, we have a little bit of a PTU there. Fokker F28 doing well, thanks. Been on a shopping spree buying aircraft and such. Oh, that is a very nice shopping spree. Synchronous 997. Sounds like the sound needs some work. Well, I think this is not unexpected for anybody that's watching the Toliss. Alright, we can hear a little bit. Maybe it's because I have the sound fading? No. Alright. Totally fine to me. We've got engine 1 avail, so this one goes here, this one goes here, here, and now we can do this. That is set. We need to set the trim is up 0.4. Set. And let's do a flight control check. Full up. Full down, neutral. Oh, need to press my rudder pedals once. Full left, full right, neutral, rudder full left, full right. Also, let me just check something. I'm not sure my X-plane... No, okay, it's the right profile. Alright, very good. After start checklist, NTI is not required, status is checked, pitch trim we've got up 0.4, which is 30%, and rudder trim is neutral. Why am I resizing constantly this window today? It is indeed. Taxi checklist is complete. Brakes are released. We are clear on the left and clear on the right. And we're just gonna get out of here. Oh. Guess what? Guess what? I've got to remove the chocks. Southampton to 20. I mean, yeah, it's maybe difficult to add the EIS one, but in Microsoft Flight Sim it's done by other developers, so they have to keep up the standard, I guess. I see. Oh, and the weather just deteriorated a lot. Wow. I guess I picked up the airport quite nicely. Bellegastel, just a bit late, but consider using tow bus for your next airblast stream. Load sheets, etc. are really handy. Oh, I like it, and I have it. I like it. And I have it for all the other ones. In fact, I think it works for this one as well. SOPs to start the engine one first. I think it depends from airline to airline, so we'll see. Damir is saying that the you have to pay extra for the IPU sound. I don't know. Honestly, if you are talking about like proper simulation, you're sitting in the cockpit and you probably don't hear that much the IPU unless you open the window. So, I mean, it's fine. And also, maybe they just simply forgot to add it. This is a pre-release version, so they still might add stuff. So let's do weather radar. Tilt and gain is going to be normal. That is set. That is auto brake maximum, cabin check, and takeoff config is normal. Taxi checklist, controls check, flap settings should be 2. That's why checklists are 4. Otherwise, we'd be probably running out of the runway here. Radar and protective windshield is on and auto. Engine mode selector is normal, and ECAM memo is takeoff, no blue. Taxi checklist is complete. Very nice. I'll switch on the strobes and landing lights as well. Final looks clear. Let's do a lineup checklist as runway 20. Takeoff runway 20 is confirmed. Just need to switch the TCAS on, and we can do packs 1 and 2 off. Lineup checklist is complete. Oh boy, the weather really did a turn. We had such a beautiful sky, and now look at this. That was a quite decent lineup. Alright, we're clear to go. Lights are on. Transponder is set. We're gonna go packs 1 and 2 off. And let's go. Let's start. Takeoff okay in chat. Clock on. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. Thrust stable. Man flex SRS. Nav is blue, auto thrust is blue. Oh boy, I should have put the wipers on. Alright, thrust is set. Speed is alive. One and knots. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. You're up. Nav. Alright, I'm going to go autopilot 1. Heading. Open climb. Thrust climb, open climb, heading, auto thrust. We are above F speed, speed check, flaps 1. Now, I don't know, is the sim too loud now? Please let me know if I need to turn it down a little bit or not. Sound not good in terms of too loud, tiny bit loud. How about now? Actually, wait. I think it was right here. Let me just go through the Toliss menu. Sounds. And I just drop it a little bit. Like that. Okay, as speed flaps up. Disarm the spoilers. Lights off. And that's correct. Go pack 1. Interesting thing. The auto tilt works quite nicely. And let's see if we are flying into the right direction. Yes, we are. Perfect. And let's go pack 2 on. 10,000 feet is blue. Let's go higher. Let's go to 20. Transition is incorrect. I want to go to performance. Next phase, next phase, next phase. And I want to put 190 on the transition. So this way it's going to be better. Although, I don't know why is it saying decelerate. Interesting. We'll see. Alright, I'll toggle the standards so that it just doesn't blink. And we're going to get above these clouds. Damir, sound of the plane, thank you. Thank you guys. I think it should be better now. I guess the, okay, now we're back. Temp is good. Everything is good. Now it's really quiet. Where's the external view? I mean, the weather really did take a turn. Alright. Let me just load any arrival so that it maybe will reset the warning. Via Bayat should be good. No transition insert. Still saying decelerate. But we're not in the... We are in the approach phase. Did I activate the approach phase? By mistake. Looks like I did. So we have to insert the cruise altitude again. Alright, okay, now we're back. Past 10,000, lights off. And now we'll be doing some tests. I want to wait until we get clear of the clouds, at least a tiny bit more. And I want to see the differences in fuel flow. And yesterday I've been sitting and testing a little bit the fuel flows for the 320neo to have an idea, to have a comparison for it. So I tested the fuel flows at flight level 350, but before we go to flight level 350, oh boy, that is a big cloud, holy cow. Alright, at least we've got some visibility now. A lot more visibility now. And we'll keep clear of clouds. Let's stop at flight level 150, but before that, here's the first thing that I want to do. I want to see if they actually simulate anything related to the Sharklets. Because according to the studies or whatever, the engineers, it is said that the Sharklets decrease the fuel consumption from 3 to 5% on long-haul flights. That is fine, 3 to 5%, I can imagine. But here's, just think with me for a little bit. Airplanes fly because they create lift from the wings, okay? And the Sharklets, actually before that, when you create lift and overall when you fly, you have two types of drag. One is called the parasite drag, and that one is basically just what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god, what is the name I'm looking for? That is literally the drag that's created just from the from the pressure that the air exerts on your airframe. So let's imagine when you go and drive your car, or you are in a car, probably each and one of you have already put your hand into the free stream. So you put your hand and you feel the strength of the air hitting your air. That is parasite drag essentially. And if you rotate your hand, depending on the position of your hand, you can feel more or less strength, more or less drag. This is the same. The second type of drag is related to the... Let me just turn on the engine anti-ice, I want to get away from this rain. To the creation of lift. And it's essentially because you create vortices at your wingtips, because the pressure tries to equalize, and so they start creating vortices, and those vortices create a lot of drag. So the thing is, the more angle of attack you have, the slower you go, and the heavier your airplane is on a clean wing, the bigger your induced drag will be. And that is exactly what I want to test, because the wingtips, what are wingtips? Wingtips are solutions to decrease this drag. Now I'm just going to speed up a little bit so we can get into a clear area here without rain, because that would be lovely. Alright, here we go. And so this is what I want to do. So we have the same airplane, same engines, and that's exactly why I decided to take off with such a high weight. Also for a second reason. The CFM and the IE engines are not as powerful as the Neo engines, and you feel that absolutely. You can feel that the airplane is a lot less powerful on the climb out. You can feel that, and it's really cool that they actually managed that. And now I just want the airplane stabilized at a low speed, 220 knots. I want to see what's the fuel flow that it's going to be doing there, and if we apply the Sharklets, if there will be any difference or not, because if we do change engine types, there will be a difference, of course. But I'm not sure if the Sharklets do anything. I want to know, or at least I want to hope that yes, it does something. Alright, so let the airplane now stabilize. We are here at flight level 150, and engines are coming up, and it looks like we are burning roughly about 2,100. I want to see until it really stabilizes. Alright, about 2,100. Okay, so 2,100. Now, just to make sure that the calculation makes any sense, I'm gonna take, it's between 3 and 5%, they say. 2,100, I'm gonna see how much 3% is. That's 63 kilos. So divide that by 2, it's gonna be a difference of 30 kilos per engine. So that's considerable. Let's see if it actually works here or not. Or maybe I'm just spending my time, but I really want to see it. Let's put the Sharklets. So they're in. And let's see if it does make any difference or not. It is actually maintaining a slightly lower value than it was before. It was going up to the 70s, if you remember. Look at that. Maybe the wind doesn't help as well, but yeah, it was definitely a gust of wind. But it feels like it went below the 1070 per engine that we saw for a couple of times. Now it went up again because we lose some speed. But once it gets back, let's see. Are we in clouds? No. We are in rain again. Alright. I'm gonna do my trick to hide from the rain. There we go. There's 1,000. Yeah, it actually looks like there's a slight difference. Very minimal difference, but there is one. Look, we're maintaining 220. And there is some difference just by applying Sharklet. Let's see if I remove them again. If it starts to increase or not. I want to see. But this is nice. This is really cool. I removed them. Yes, I did. We are in the rain again. Explain. Please fix the rain. Alright, we should be clear here, I think. Nope. It's still raining. Alright, maybe here. Alright, we clear up the rain. Let's see. Let it stabilize the speed. Now it's about the same. So maybe it's impossible to see the difference here, but it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. Alright, very good. That's the first test completed. Let's turn back. We have to fly into that cloud, or at least close to that cloud. I want to explore the weather radar. See nav mode, we have to turn about 270, and I want to explore the weather radar. The modes of operation, let's get some speed up as well. And let's put the airplane lighter. So I'll remove a lot of the fuel. Quick defuel. And I'll do less passengers as well. So let's do like, I don't know, 75. And I see a lot of red there already. So let's fly to that area. Let's get some speed as well and test it out. Alright, what am I missing on the chat? Tapman123. Depends on the operator as well. Some operators opting to keep their SOPs unique. That's true. That is totally true, and that's why I don't pay too much attention to it. Technically, we're always approaching our destination. Cooler being extra philosophical today. Danny, unfortunately it's back to work for me. I'll have to watch the rest later. Thank you, Vlad. Glad I found your channel and subscribed. Danny, good luck there with your work. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, let's start climbing to 350. That's the altitude I wanted. So open climb. Let's get it going. And now, let's see. So we've got about 40 to 50 miles till that cloud. Check gross weight. That is checked. New cruise altitude is correct. I guess I need to adjust that. Fuel prediction. Gross weight. Zero fuel weight. Can we check the zero fuel weight? Gross weight now is 67.1, but that's correct, right? No, that's incorrect. Oh, interesting, so I actually broke that. How many passengers did we have? 144, I think. I think we had 144. Alright, so I just removed the fuel and that's gonna be enough. 5 tons. Alright, there we go. We're climbing. Oh boy, it's actually showing purple. That's not good. Okay, let's see. Let's see how we can play with the weather radar. So right now the tilt is on 0. It's on auto, I guess. The gain is on auto as well. I want to see if I do minimum. If it's going to make any difference or not. Yes, it does, actually. Very good. So what's the advantage of sometimes playing with the gain? Sometimes you could have radar attenuation, so essentially the radar cannot read below a certain amount of rain because it simply gets reflected. And so you can play, or just you get a lot of clutter, and you can play with your own settings here and see what's what, where is the danger. That is pretty impressive. Okay, I'm gonna leave this on auto. Now it says plus 1.5. Let's see if I can move this myself. Not doing it. Oh, maybe it's the multi-scan. Maybe I have to switch that off. Yeah, there we go. Alright, +2. So we can see, for instance, if we're climbing, how's the cloud looking on the top part, as well as on the low part. This is very useful. Also, I don't want to get inside of it. Oh boy, the lower part is looking bad. So this is probably because we have what? We have roughly... This is like almost 7.5 degrees up. I don't know what is the exact radar position, but it is looking pretty bad. But this is cool. Okay, and the lower part is fine. Also, we do have a map mode, so we can actually scan the ground. For terrain, it probably will not work now very well because we don't have exactly mountains, but this is cool. Does the turbulence work? I want to see. Weather plus turbulence. Actually, depending on the weather radar, I think purple means very heavy rain and turbulence, so could be it already. Very nice. Now, I'm not going to get inside of that. I don't think it's a good idea, so we're just going to overfly to the side. And I just want to climb higher. So let's get to our green dot and start climbing higher. We have some precipitation, so anti-ice is going to go on. And for the sake of time, I will do a cheat code here called explain menu or explain map. 31, 32, 33, there we go. Like that, like that. This could be Mach number now. And I can probably remove the engine anti-ice. Where's the cloud? Oh, we are above it. Cool. Very cool. Now notice the weather radar is pointing slightly lower because the dangerous weather is probably below us. So that's really cool. And I'd love to decrease the climb rate as well so we can gain some speed because we're almost stalling. Alt star heading. We're back to the decelerate again. Alt cruise. Get the speed there. And I want to see Mach 0.79. What's the fuel flow here? And compare it with the different engines as well. David TSW. Go right through it, Vlad. Let's see what happens. I don't think that's a very good idea, to be honest. I don't know. I kind of, you know, it's just a little bit like, I don't know. And this is actually very realistic. Check this out. You see how slowly the airplane accelerates because, and bear with me, but we just spoke about reduced drag, and this is very cool. Let me just grab my paint, because paint is the best drawing board ever. And I'll explain to you very quickly why this happens. So here's paint. So essentially, when you combine the two curves of drag, you have the induced drag like this. This is, I'm going to put the drag here. This is the speed. So induced drag goes like this. The slower you go, the more induced drag you have. The faster you go, the less induced drag. The parasite, on the other hand, goes the other way around. It goes like this. Okay? So the slower you go, the less force you're going to feel on your hand, and vice versa. So what happens is, let me just put here 0.79. So if you combine both, the combined curve is going to be something along this here. Actually, sorry, should be like that. It will be like this. So this is going to be your total drag, and you have your minimum speed, minimum drag speed right here, because this is the least amount of drag possible for a certain amount of speed. On the Airbus, it's like the grain dot. On smaller planes, it's something else. And so what does that mean? It means that if you fly on this zone right here, this is called the unstable region, because the slower you go, the more drag you're going to have. And that's a problem. Let's imagine on landing. You have a problem with your engines, or you don't put power in time, you put a lot of flaps and so on, you fly below your minimum drag speed, and all of a sudden you need a lot more power than you would have otherwise needed. This, on the other hand, is the stable region. This, essentially, if you go slower, you get less drag. That is cool. And we saw this happening right now. Just notice how quicker we are accelerating right now compared to what we were accelerating just below the green dot. We spent, I don't know, probably we spent a minute just accelerating through until green dot. And that was exactly because the total drag is a lot higher in this area right here. It's the unstable zone. So yeah, anyways, physics lesson over. If you didn't know about this, I hope you learned something new. And we are approaching 350. I want to see what's the fuel flow. Once it stabilizes the speed, of course, the temperature is slightly different. And then we're going to put this airplane to land. And we're going to finish the stream right there. Tomorrow, again, a reminder, we will be flying the IAE version. Of course, I will show the IE engines in a bit, but we will be flying IAE version of the 320 as Spirit from Atlanta to Orlando, and I hope it's going to be stormy, because at least it was promising to be quite stormy. Almost there. Okay. Mazzy17, why doesn't the CEO have the LEAP engines that are more efficient? Well, because the CEO stands for current engine option, and it's essentially what the first version of Airbus was. So it has the older engines. Of course, I can have the Neos here because it has both configurations. Here's the Pratt & Whitney, here's the LEAPs, so you can have that. But the funny thing is, a lot of people requested Toliss to make the CEO version with the older engines, so they did, and that's really cool. Synchronous and Vlad kicked out the passengers in mid-flight. They had parachutes. They were fine. Ludo Kerman, you're an airline pilot? No. Well, I'm on the way to become an airline pilot. I'm still in flight school, currently in my instrument rating training. So yes, but that's exactly my objective, and a lot of the stuff that we learned already is very much related to airline stuff, so kind of like physics and all of this stuff. That's why I try to share the knowledge with you, because I think it just makes it easier to understand for you guys what is happening with the airplane. David TSW, that is cool. Is this something that's modeled in X-Plane 12 in general, or is it in the Toliss buses? David TSW, if you're talking about this effect of the drag, this happens all across X-Plane, because X-Plane is essentially a very big physics engine. So yes, it happens with all the airplane. That's pretty cool. Mali Bacco, hey, thanks for the stream. Are the visuals the same as the 319-321? Mali, I think I showed the engine in the beginning of the live stream. Essentially, the fuselage is the same as the 320, and the engine model and the wings are the same as the 319. I believe the wings for the 321 are different, but the texturing of the engine is the same. So, I hope that answers your question. And this is the CFM version. Hint, again, if you're watching this from the middle, I have an old graphics card, RTX 2070. It only has 8 gigs of RAM, so I'm not running the textures, not even on high, it's on medium. That's why it doesn't look as amazing as it could. Melly, are there any sounds improvements compared to the older ones? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. In fact, I've been using the KOSP sound pack for so long that I don't really remember how does it sound on the 319 and 321, but from what we've heard so far, I don't think there is like any significant improvement. It looks good on this livery though. It looks good. Alright, so we're stable. Let's see what's the fuel flow here. It's about 1,100 and something. It's probably oscillating quite a bit, but 1,160. So this is roughly 2,300 kilos. So 2,300 kilos, I'm going to tell you. So I took yesterday, yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's 2,300 roughly. Maybe a bit higher, maybe a bit lower, but somewhere along those numbers. Yesterday I took the 319, the 320 Neo, the 321 Neo, the 321 CEO for the test on purpose to just compare the fuel flows, and it all makes sense. So the 319 averages at this altitude, at this speed, 2,200 kilos, more or less. The 321 CEO averages 2,600 kilos, so that's 400 kilos more at this altitude. And we've got this one, the CEO, at 2,300 kilos, which is basically kind of exactly in the middle. Now, the Neos, the 320, averages 2 tons dead, so even less than the 319, which is impressive. And the 321 Neo averages 2,300, which is basically as much as this one. So you can see the effectiveness of the engines, and that is pretty cool. But yeah. Little Carmen. Okay, that's why you're talking about ATPL stuff. Yep, that is it. Alright, and now I want to see the IAE. So here we go. Of course, we get the EPR engines. Now it will stabilize, and I want to see the fuel flow as well. The fuel flow on the IAE should be slightly higher than on the CFMs. Here's how they look. Pretty standard, I would say. I love the way it looks. Very balanced. Very cool. Of course, as quickly as I can, I will be putting the Carda mod on it as soon as it's gonna become supported. And of course, the KOSP sound pack is gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, here's the airplane for you. It's cool. Do you guys want to see any other livery? I have a couple of other liveries here. So, just so you guys can see, there's this one for Sharklets. There is this one for the IAE with the black nose, which kind of looks very good too. There's this one, which I don't know exactly what's the difference, but maybe because of the logos. This one looks like something else. This is the newer 320. the 320 Neo. This is for the Neo. And then I have this one, which was a combination. Spirit, Air New Zealand, S7, Pan Am. I just thought maybe sometime in the future it would be a nice stream. Northwest, I really want to do a flight with Northwest. I have an EasyJet. This is the old one, all orange, and the Toliss default. So if you want to see any of the different liveries, please let me know. Alright, I think the engines have stabilized. Look at that. Almost 2,400, maybe a little bit less, but 2,400. So roughly plus 100 kilos than what we had on the CFM. It's pretty impressive, the change of engines. Alright, back to the CFM. I'm gonna put this back to auto. Let's see. Yes, it's back to the CFMs. Very good. And now we're gonna start our descent to land. So let's do this to 10,000 initially. Open climb. We'll use auto brake, medium, trust idle, open descent. I'm gonna change this to, I'm gonna leave it actually on Mach number for now, let the airplane go down. And let's do a real fast descent. Let's put the speed brakes out and get it going. Weather's looking good. How are we looking in terms of temperature? Probably will be turning on the engine anti-ice when we get into those clouds. And let the airplane go. Okay, let me catch up with the chat now. Ludo Kerman, I've learned principles of flight a month ago, lol. Yeah, it's a very, very nice subject. You definitely learn a lot of stuff there. Alright, let's see, landing performance, reset, how are we looking? There's 0 wind, light rain, 10 statute miles, auto brake is low, brake mode is on low, let's see, medium, we are overweight. Are we really? We shouldn't be overweight. We have 57.6 plus 4, that's gonna be 60, wait, it's gonna be 61. We're in the clouds, right? Yeah, we are. Okay, and now I'm gonna go this, and I'm gonna put 320 and let it roll. Look at that descent rate. We're basically doing an emergency descent. Alright, we are not that heavy. We are in fact only at 57.6. We are at 4. We should be at 61. 61.6. 61.6. Compute. Auto brake too low. Alright, there we go. So auto brake medium will be good. Flaps full, of course. Let's get the weather stuff. Where's the port? The airport. Okay, I'll just get it here. So wind is 0. Activate the approach phase already. Wind is 0. QNH is 3007. Flaps full, and the rest doesn't really matter apart from the temp, like that. And the wind is 0 at 0. MDA, I'll just do a radio of 500. And that's gonna be enough. Okay, passing flight level 200. Very nice, clear of clouds. Okay, alright, Mali, yeah, classic Toliss, the visuals and sounds are still the same as years ago, but it's a new product. Well, you know, I really can't complain. A lot of people requested this, so it feels kind of weird that, like, okay guys, you asked for it, and now you're complaining that, well, it's whatever is the same. So, I get both sides of the coin. I like this plane, I think it's cool, and what most of the people don't understand is that it's not as simple as just swapping the engines from the 319 to the 321, apart of course from the object stuff. I mean the 3D, yes, it's there, but I think what Toliss does is the extra step regarding the detail of the simulation itself, the systems, the fuel consumptions, the engine wear, all that stuff. That is an extra step. and I think we should recognize it, because a lot of people are just like, oh well, this is just a new engine. And I'm not saying this because they gave me this plane for free, it's because I literally believe it. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. And by the way, what the hell? We are doing an RNP approach. I have my Minimus. Now, this airplane does not have LPV, because it's not the newer A320. So we have an LNAV VNAV minimum, which is 1656. And that's exactly what I'll be using. Our V-speeds are probably wrong, so I will have to adjust those. And also, I would probably go direct to Inoue, which is the initial approach fix or the intermediate fix, which sounds just like we're gonna get in time for there. So, direct to. Let's start slowing down. We have less than 20 miles. Actually, I'll keep the speed down for now. I'll keep the speed up so we descend faster. Yeah, reversion mode. Come on, pull it out of there. And start to slow down. We want to be at 3,000 feet at fender, so we have a little bit of space. And that's good. I can remove the speed brakes. Is this going to intercept or not? Not so sure. The airplane doesn't want to exceed 2 Gs, or maybe it will. Okay, good stuff. Let's do manage speed. Very nice. Alright, now just bleed off the speed. I can actually increase this a little bit. So we're gonna cheat so we don't spend too much time here. Like that. Beautiful. And while then I'll read the rest of the chat. Malibacco, so it's a KOSP sound pack. Yeah, I wonder why it sounds so good. This is not a KOSP sound pack. This is the default. Everything is default right here. We need lights as well. And we are perfect on profile. Johnny, no CRT. No. Just like it looks like the A320neo basically. Well, it kinda is like it. That was the entire point of the updated Neo. Much like the 737 MAX, they wanted to improve it, or they wanted to change the least amount possible, so kinda makes sense. Synchronized 907, going to the night shift, thanks, see you tomorrow. Dude, good luck there on your work, see you tomorrow. Malibacker, recalculate performance curves, I truly hope they did recalculate. Ludikerman, I'm running X-Plane 12 on my MacBook Pro M1, M1 Pro. Are there are 2 Pros? Okay. It is horrible. I can't even fly it higher than 25 FPS, and I fly with VATSIM. It disconnects every 20 seconds. But it is too expensive to buy a config for X-Plane 12. Well, I totally understand you. And that's why I like PC and Windows overall. Oh, look at that. Engine 2 FADEC B fault. Are you kidding me? Do you have anything else? No. Okay, so one of the FADECs just failed. Funny. So funny. Ludicarmen with the 320neo Toliss. Yeah, I see. I feel you. I feel you totally. Okay, so let's see. We've got here 5 miles to go. Let's go flaps 1. Gonna arm the approach mode. App nav is on. My eardrum, David TSW. Yeah, that was a quick descent. No, it's fine. Everything is fine. It's probably just a crew awareness. Still feel like I have the weight botched. Let's do flaps 2. And I want to see the bird, because the bird will allow me to see our angle of attack, and that's really useful. Let's do 170, maybe 160 even. Yeah, let's do 160. 160, because we're not that far. The fender. And the missed approach will be at 3,000 feet, so the altitude is already set. Very good. Guys, well, I think the stream is coming almost to an end. We're going to land the plane, maybe watch a replay or so, and if you have any more questions, please let me know. Write them in the chat now or in the comments if you're watching this afterwards. Tomorrow we will be doing a live stream on the IAE variant for Spirit, all default again, and then probably I will be waiting for a supported KOSP sound pack and so on. Alright, I feel like it started to descend, so let's go gear down, speed brakes, flaps 3. This is gonna go on, and flaps full. And I want to adjust the speed on my own because I feel like this is not so good. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 142 feels good. I messed up the speeds and that's why. Ah, the wiper is very silenced. Alright, just to make sure, landing checklist. Go around altitude 3,000 feet set, crew advised, Kamemo landing no blue. Checklist complete. And runway's inside, actually. Visibility is really dropped. Let's see. Autopilot off. Oh, at least at least the sounds of the autopilot disconnect are good. Because remember the last stream we made on the Mango with the Mango sound pack on the 330? It sounds nice, but the call-outs and the autopilot disconnect sound is just not there. Good luck, thank you so much. I mean, it's pretty calm. I don't know why the METAR said 0 wind, but actually we are having a headwind, and that helps us, so not a problem to me. Can I switch back to
minimum.
Continue, runways in sight. There we go, vertical speed heading, that is correct.
300.
I think we should disconnect the flow directors at this point as well. Oh boy, where's my center line? Where is my center line? It's there somewhere.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Alright, spoilers. Reverse green, decel. Wasn't too bad. My centerline ability though, 70 knots. Auto brake off. And I'm gonna vacate at the very end. Reverse is off. Start the chrono. Stop the clock. 43 minutes in the air. Felt good. IPU on. That was pretty good. So now I wonder, where do we have to vacate? I think to the right. Yeah, we taxied from the right, so let's go to the right. Okay, that was a bit of a fast turn. Speed brakes out. That is on. That is there. Nice turn. I think that landing deserves a like. It was not perfect, but it was very safe. No, that was actually good. That was actually good. And we also got already 1 minute and 15 on the engines. IPU has started. Weather radar can be off. Oh, this is a bug, clearly. Look, I can't switch it off. Okay, so I need to write this to Toliss. That the GCS doesn't switch off. What else did we find? I think we found something else. And they said that bugs could occur. They would still polish a couple of things before the release. Color is saying the words of truth. This is not the kind of weather to butter anyways. That's absolutely true. Can I switch this off? Oh yes, this is so much better. Alright, where were we parked? We were parked right there. So let's go and taxi to that. We're gonna have to cross an active runway, so strobe lights on. Lights on as well, so everybody can see us. Left the TCAS on still. After landing, radar and tracking wind shear is off. Clear on the left, clear on the right. You know what? I kind of love this weather. It just feels so much more comfy to be in it in certain way. I don't know. I just really like it. Alright, and we crossed the runway, so this can go back to transponding, this can go back to off, strobes can go back to auto. Ludo Kerman, I found that the brakes on Toliss planes are heating a bit too much. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. To be fair, I think it is pretty realistic from what I've heard from the real people that fly Airbuses. I mean, they even joke sometimes, like the Boeing people joke a lot, saying that the 737 never has the problems with the braking. So I don't know, but it is quite possible. It is quite possible. Also, the brake fan is, I think, mostly constantly included on the Airbus. I don't think that's an addition, but I might be wrong on that. Please correct me if I say anything wrong. But on the Boeing, for instance, you don't have that. You just have a turnover table that basically says that if you landed with this weight, with this speed, in these conditions, you have to wait 30 minutes until you can take off again, and that's kind of it. So, yeah. Alright, there's the marshaller waiting for us very nicely. Poor guy in this terrible weather. He was looking so nice in the start of the stream. But hey, we got what we wanted. We got our performance testings, we got our weather radar test. We checked the performance of the engines on the takeoff, on the cruise. We checked the IAEs. We checked the Sharklets. It looks like they actually make a very slight difference. So that's pretty cool. I am totally happy with this. And we have a proper 320 now in X-Plane. So yeah, a lot of people was like, yeah, flight factor is not as good. Well, now you can't complain. Alright, parking brake is set. We've got APU bleed on. We've got more than 3 minutes. So we can cut off the engines. And there's the to-load hub. Jumping off. Seatbelt signs off. Fuel pumps off. And below 5% N1, which it is, beacon light off. Marking checklist. Brakes and shocks set. Engines off. Wing lights off. Fuel pumps off. Parking checklist is complete. Ludicurban, I don't know, but I think that's not an option on an Airbus. Yeah, I think it's default, so it's definitely something to go with it. Golden Age, oh man, they didn't even do much to the cockpit. Thanks for showing. Seems like I won't buy it with that cockpit. Well, maybe there will be mods. They did change the overhead. I mean, but to be fair, what does an Airbus with CFM engines and IES-2 have different from the Neos? IRSs, okay, yes, the LED lights. Okay, yes. Maybe the newer ones don't have this no smoking. It has like the other thing. What's it's called? Like the electronic devices. Yes. Less flight controls computers. Yes. So they did all of that. But the rest is the same. So, I mean, you get the fuel flow, you get the right engines, you will get the right sounds. So it kind of makes the point of the 320. Oh, and it's looking nice again. Alright, do you guys want to see the landing? Let's do replay very quickly. And then we finish the live stream here, because tomorrow we will be doing it again, this time on a line mission for Spirit Airlines. Okay, I think somebody here from the ramp will be spotting our landing. This feels like a good picture. Let's see. I think it was pretty solid, the landing. Oh yeah, that was perfect. That's perfect. I'm totally happy. And I think we were inside the safe zone. So that's where we kind of... no, just before that. This is where we touched. Let's see. Center line. Perfect on the center line. Slightly after the aiming point, but honestly it's such a small difference that I can absolutely take that. We need to take a screenshot as the first A320 live stream. I love this livery. It looks really cool. Okay, let's just see it one more time from this angle. Oh yeah, that was good. And the reversers. Lovely. Okay, replay off. Replay off. That is it. Okay. Golden Age. Analog standby gauge is missing for me, and that's a big no-no for me at least. Golden Age, I can understand. Maybe you can request them to make an analog, like Zebo did an analog and a digital standby. So I think it's possible to do. I don't think it's like a significant problem. And you know what? I want to remove these stairs because I just want to see the plane like this. It looks cool like this. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope this live stream showed you what this A320 CEO from Toliss is. I hope it answered a lot of your questions. And if you have more, either, well, in this case we're going to finish now, leave them in the comment. Subscribe, hit the like. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you once again to Toliss and to Cockpit Lyrics, which is the guy who recommended me to Toliss. His channel is in the description. He speaks in German and does some really good content as well, so if you can, check him out and support him as well. Guys, see you tomorrow. I wish you a great rest of the day, and yeah, thank you so much for all the support. You guys are amazing. Love you all. Bye bye.